This is Death or Prison, brought to you by leanonmeusa.org. We bring you stories of hope and encouragement.
Hello, I'm Joe Pryor, President and CEO at Crossroads Prison Ministries. For over 40 years, we have provided correspondence Bible lessons and caring mentors to people in prisons and jails. I want to invite you to join us on this journey. You may ask, why should I sign up for a correspondence Bible study? Well, the answer is simple. Just as it is important to strengthen your body with good food and exercise, and your mind with new learning opportunities, it is also vital that you spend quality time growing your faith in God. Crossroads is a Christian program, but open to you. Whether you are a believer in Jesus Christ looking to strengthen your faith or simply exploring faith and what it can mean to your life, we're here for you. We want to come alongside you as we study God's Word together. We don't charge for our program. All you need to do is write to us at the address on the screen, and we will begin sending you lessons. I encourage you to give us a try. Thank you, and I hope to see you as a student very soon.
Hello and welcome to the Death or Prison podcast brought to you by leanonmeusa.org. I am Johnny Branham.
And I'm Elmo Big Mo Golden.
And I'm Antonio Madison. How everybody doing?
All right.
Good. Welcome,
Yes, sir.
Antonio. Want to talk today about your life, Antonio, but we want to start out at your genesis, which is where you grew up. Where's home at?
Home is Tallahassee, Florida, sir. Tallahassee, Florida. Home of the Seminoles and Rattlers. Yes,
Okay, sir. I won't hold that against you. I actually grew up a Gators fan, but that's okay. So, Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee.
Yes,
what was life growing up like in Tallahassee, Florida? Was it mom, dad there, siblings?
I have siblings. I have mom. I have dad. But life for me, it wasn't typical what you would think for most kids because I had all that, but my life was kind of split between different households.
Gotcha.
Growing up, I was raised by a stepfather. Chris. His name is Chris. I give him all the praise because he made me the man I am today. But his family kind of took me in, and I was between their household and my mother's household. So it's like I have, a whole different upbringing. It's like I go to my father's house, I got so much wisdom and so much understanding. And, I go to my mom's house and it's like, okay, I got my brothers and it's different, it's just a different living. It's like my mom did the best for us. You know, I'm talking about work down to the bone. She do her best for us still to today. That what a mother would do. But it's different being a boy growing up with your father. Cause this the person who gonna show you how to be a man, and that's what you need as a child growing up. My life was it was a lot of anger. It was a lot of anger, a lot of misunderstanding, like I didn't really bother nobody, but if you want to fight, we can fight. That's Tallahassee. That's old school Tallahassee. All this new stuff, shooting and stuff. I don't believe in. But back then, if you want to fight, we can fight. Go home, see each other the next day, and go back to school. Have a good day. Everybody, you live to see another day. That was the thing back when I was growing up.
How many
And
brothers
but
and sisters did you have?
I have two with my mother and one with my biological father. Yes. Two older brothers, James and Chris, both also was incarcerated. One's out doing well, living life, and we waiting on the other one to come home this year. And he got a new mindset. But yeah, two brothers, and the little brother with my father, he's doing all right. Kenneth, he's doing all right. But yes, sir, them my hearts right there. So
So
yes, sir.
so you're saying every male in your family has been incarcerated?
Every male except one, and I got to give that praise to who's honestly my role model, my little cousin. He's the only one in our family who hasn't been incarcerated, hasn't been in jail. He was a high school champion on the football team, defensive tackle and linebacker. So he's my role model for sure. So he's the only one. Yes, sir.
In life growing up in Tallahassee with this dual when you're growing up in these different households, what was some of the things that you were into as a child? Were you in, hanging around with the right crowd,
Um,
wrong crowd? What was that like growing up as an adolescent?
like I said, it was two lifestyles, definitely. Mom house, very strict. It wasn't no, oh, you in the house, street light on. You better be in this house, homework, like to the T, house clean, you know, everything was almost militant. And you would think I was with my father, but my father was guiding, but he gave me a little bit more leeway to be my own man. And that what kind of led me to get into a little bit more trouble. So it was like with my father's house, I kind of did what I want within guidelines of being, my age. But with my mom's house, it was strict. So you know who house I was at the most, my father's, for that particular reason
Mhm.
as a teenager. I look back on it, I kind of wish I changed up some things and my behavior, but we was all young before.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, yes.
So your people you hung around with, the other the other I guess kids,
Yes, sir.
did they have anything that motivated you towards being positive, or was it just
No, no, no. If anything, I was the motivation, like
Mm,
because of my father. Like my father always instilled in me, hey, get a job. Hey, work, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that street money look good, but it ain't gonna last long. Like he told me good and right, but he never wanted to pressure me because he always felt like it would have pushed me away. You know what I'm saying? He was always that type, like, you know what? I'm gonna be here when you get into whatever you get into. But you're gonna have to figure it out, because you're not listening to me. But like I was always the ones telling them like, nah, bro, I gotta go to work. Because I'm working with
Mhm,
my father.
mhm.
He got me a job, being a janitor. I'm buffing flows. I'm 15, buffing flows. Now I gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when I got paid and went to go hanging out, they're boring. They ain't got nothing to do. Okay, y'all, let's go do something. It's like I'm the financial
Yes,
ticket to go do it. So,
yes.
mhm,
that's how it kind of the trouble kind of transpired.
right.
But yes, sir. With my with my with my father's side. But
Hmm.
with my mother's side, it was always me and my brothers.
Right.
Always,
You
yeah.
you know
That's
we probably all could look back on our lives or in our lives and kind of figure out, we're a little older now, figure out through reflection, where did it go
yes, sir.
wrong?
Yes,
Where
yes.
did
I
it
did
go
a lot of
wrong at?
that. I did a lot of that. A lot of that. And when you end up in my position, you forced to do a lot of that. But we're gonna
Mhm.
get to that later. Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna get to that later. I ain't trying to jump the gun. I'm sorry.
Right.
No,
Yes, sir.
no.
Through reflection, where do you think it took that turn?
Honestly, the turn went when I felt like I did not have a way out. That's when the major turn went. As a child, it was juvenile play. It was always child play. Every time I went to juvenile, it was basically me defending myself. But I took it too far to the point it wasn't defense no more. I became the aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I'm not fearing no more. I'm winning now. So you gotta know when to stop. But I end up going to juvie. But other than that, the turning point for me when I literally felt like I had no other option, but this is it. Like I don't see myself doing this. I don't see myself being that. I had no one telling me like, hey, it's another way. But then I had to remind myself now as an adult, no one told them it was another way. Like it's like putting a flea in a jar. If it stopped jumping and the baby stopped jumping, and then them babies stop jumping, nobody know that they got better potential than what they can be on this jar. So it's
Mhm.
like our minds just get stuck, and it was just oh, get a job, get a house, pay rent, and not knowing that you can do so much more with your life. And
Hmm.
I found that out now. Like if somebody would have told me at 14 that my artwork could have went on people's body as tattoos and I could have got paid, my life would have went different. Totally
Hmm.
different. And I'm not saying it's not like I didn't have opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like the opportunities that I was given, they wasn't good enough. So I wasn't grateful for the opportunities. That's that young age. I wasn't
Hmm.
grateful for the things that I did have. But
You
because my family gave me opportunity. Like,
yes.
my dad gave me an allowance, you know what I'm saying? My mom,
Mhm.
she got connections throughout the city. She made sure, when I got of age to work, I worked, you know what I'm saying? But it was when I felt like, yeah, pressure's on, rents due, bills is piling up. It's time to go hit the streets.
Take
Mm.
take us through that first pivotal turn in something that changed and altered your life forever. I know you alluded to it, and I want us
Juvenile,
to get to that when
juvenile,
you're juvenile. Okay.
juvenile, juvenile. The smell, I still smell it.
How
Smell
old
like
were you
bleach
at
and
that point?
musk. I was 11 years old,
11 years old.
11 years old, and not just juvenile, but that same following year was my first year I ever got sent to a boys' home, far away from home. And
Okay.
they don't really try to rehabilitate you. They just babysit you. You know, they let
Mhm.
you, monitor yourself. And it's almost like they're kind of prepping you for prison. You know,
Mhm.
like, hey, y'all govern yourselves. We just here to, to monitor you. And I mean, every now and then you got them some counselors that, try to reach out and talk to you. And I think, thank God for those, because them the ones that, I cling to. But yeah, it was juvenile, sir. That was, yeah, it was juvenile.
From juvenile at 11,
Yes,
you're
sir.
you're current, and for the audience sake, I want them to walk through your testimony of you currently being in a wheelchair,
Yes,
and
sir.
when did that transpire and how did you get to that point?
Oh man, from juvenile, I stopped being scared because I felt like, oh, this the worst they can do to me. This it.
Mhm.
This jail. I stopped being scared, and that was on the kiddie level. So the fear left me. So now I'm out here just doing whatever I want. Then lifestyle come. You see things that you want that you don't, that's not yours. I
Yes.
start trying to sell little drugs here and there, you know, and wasn't no profit. And then one day I get the dumbest idea to say, hey, why not just rob the people that's selling the drugs? Like, it's way more easier. I can get all the money and go on about my business. I don't think they're gonna call the police and say, hey, this guy just robbed me for my drugs and my drug money. So that was
Yes.
the most stupidest idea. But
Mhm.
this is where the wheelchair came. And I don't tell too many people this. Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes. I can't really quote it right now. It's within 4 or 5 or 5:4. It says it's better to not make a vow than to break a vow. And
Yes.
I was out there in the street so much. And one night, I can't say when because I don't know the statute of limitations, but we had helicopters and a whole lot of stuff going on after us. And I went home, I got on my hands and knees, crying, praying. I said, God, if you can just pick up my work hours. So I ain't gotta do this no more, Lord. I need a
Yes.
better income. I need a better income, Lord, because I can't be doing this. I can't be out here like this, Lord. I almost got caught.
You were how
I,
old
I
at that
and
time?
I was 22 at this time.
Okay.
This after me trying to go to the army, this one I felt like it was no way out. You know what I'm saying? I tried all the possibilities, and because of my juvenile record, I couldn't do nothing. So yeah, that's why I say juvenile was the worst part for me. But
Mhm.
so I got on my hands and knees. I say, God, if you change my life in this work, I'll drop this pistol. And that's exactly what he did. But it's so funny. We ask God for things and we expect him to give us what we asking. But what he do is he plant the seed and see if you're gonna be the farmer to grow it. He'll give you the
Mhm.
seed, but you gotta put it in the ground to water it, grow it, nature and nurture it. My fault. Because faith without work is meaningless, right?
Yes.
So at my job, I just became a carpenter, last man on the team. I don't get that much work. My boss finally came to me. He said, hey, I need you to work Saturday. I said, cool, no problem, boss. I'll be there. Just so happened, my cousin, the one who I told y'all was my role model, he got me a job at Pizza Hut. I was supposed to start this Sunday. If we got enough time, can I tell y'all the night of me getting shot?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. It was a Friday night, never forget. I was shacking up with a girl and I was at work. She just so happened to be messing with her ex-boyfriend. He calls me. I'm at work and we had a 6x6 16-foot beam that we trying to put on the roof, and we on scissor lifts, and I got men up underneath me and I'm trying to scrap it to the roof, and he calls me, and my family know, while I was at the job, that I got a rule. You only call me on my lunch break and only call me, after work. If it's important, you text me, I'll call you when I can, because I have other people's lives in my hand. So I pick up the phone, it's him. Automatically I put the two and two together because they're not from the city. It's a Miami number. And I'm like, why Miami number got my number? So he, telling me, hey man, hey, I just want to let you know the girl that you with, blase, squaze, she ain't a good girl, da 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 da. Okay, it's time for me to leave ship, So I'm at work Friday. Now listen to this. This is what greed gets you. Friday, just got my check. I go to the Circle K. I get me an 18 pack of Corona. I walk up to the house. I go in. I put half of my rent money on the like on the kitchen table. I go pack my clothes. I put the key on top of the money, and I sit on the on the stairway. It's an apartment complex, so I sit on the stairway. I'm trying to think, how can I get to the south side? I call everyone. First person I called was my cousin, and at the point in time, he had my mom's truck. Me and him was sharing the vehicle, and I called him, and he was like, "I know you just got paid, cuz I need some gas money." I said, "Cuz I just gave you the truck on full Wednesday. Today's Friday. What did you do with all the gas money?" So he's like, "Man, cuz look, you want me to come get you, cuz you got to give me a little gas money." I said, "Man, look, I don't feel like that's right. You in my pocket." I hung up. So I had a dude, an old associate. We call him Con. And we did a little dirt, can't say too much, but when I said I was done, he said he was done. So he was honestly the truest friend out of the group, and he was an old coworker. But he called, he wanted to shoot some pool. I told him, I like, no, I'm drinking right now and I gotta go to work in the morning. If I know I'll go shoot some pool, I'm not gonna go to work. And I want to show my boss that, hey, I'm here. So he said, okay, well, look, I'm gonna shoot some pool, and if I'm still out and about, I'll come get you. But he said, be careful with old dog. Old dog, he on some BS tonight. So old dog is a mutual associate, and just so happens she's pulled up. I'm sitting here. She see me pack. I say nothing. I don't get confrontational. She go buy some alcohol. She get intoxicated, and she start putting her hands on me. And at this particular moment, old dog calls me and hear the commotion in the background. And when she started putting her hands on me, and I've been drinking, and I'm just like, hey, you know what? Come get me. I missed out a step where he called me before and asked me to go do some dirt with him, and I told him no. I'm sorry, I missed that part out. But the second time he called me, I was just like, you know what? Come get me. I'm set. Let's go. Take me, go drop my stuff off, and let's go. Now, this the thing. I go to the south side, drop my clothes off. My auntie look at me and say, I don't know what you finna do, but baby, you need to lay down, get ready to go to work. That was God warning. See, God sent people to warn us, and we just pushed them off to the side. So I said, I looked my auntie in the face and lied, because I said, Auntie, I will be right back. We're driving back. We picking up some dude who I don't know. And I'm like, okay, I go to questioning the dude, and he tell me, he gonna ride and do all the gangster stuff that they say they gonna do, and
Mhm.
telling you none of that stuff pop off when stuff go to popping off. I'm telling you that. So I give him the plan of what we gonna do and how we gonna get in the house. So dude come out the house, and I tell him, I say, hey, well, you asked for the 20 because I got the pew pew. Can I say what it is?
Mhm.
Yes.
Can I talk raw?
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so I got the pistol. So I got the pistol, and I'm like, look, man, when he come outside, you gonna hand him the $20. When he put both hands in his pocket, I'm gonna up the gun. When I up the gun, you pat him down, make sure he ain't got no gun. I'm gonna push him in the house. You need to be in front of me. I'm gonna sit him down. You said you was in here earlier. Go get everything. We in and out. Nobody get hurt. Nobody get in. I'm not even supposed to even be here because I told God I'm not even supposed to even do this no more. Funny. So we get up, knock on the door. Everything goes to plan until we go in the house. If you ever play football, coach, you run practice, so you don't have to think about the play. You call the play, you know where you supposed to be at, where you supposed to be at. Everybody can't be the quarterback. Everybody can't be the wide receiver. Play your position. And as I'm noticing, somebody's not playing their position because I'm looking in front of me like, where he's at. You supposed to be the first one in the house. And as I look back over my shoulder to tell him to get in the house, the dude grabs my gun and say, stop. So as I'm trying to struggle with the gun, I click, but it doesn't discharge. I hear this dude say, trap, he got a gun. I let go everything and I say, where? And as I say, where, he shot me 3 times in my right shoulder. Boom, boom, boom. I'm spinning. And as I'm spinning, it's fight or flight. We on the second floor. The guy who I came with, who had a gun as well, left me. So I'm going to ride for you. You my dog. We got this. Trust me, just stay away from it. It's better to not do it than to ever believe in somebody else. Don't put your faith in no man. So as I'm spinning and I see him leaving, because the force from the gun, I just couldn't stop. And as I'm coming back, I'm like, okay, I gotta fight. So I cock back my left arm and I'm getting ready to try to punch him in his chin. He turned his face and screams, no. And he shoots me 4 times in my lung. Bam, bam, bam. Now my brain is registering. Oh my God, I'm getting shot. So I try to grab for his collar to like, hey, stop shooting me. And as I grab, he do like a James Brown electric slide on me to the right and hit me 2 more times in my stomach. And bam, I dropped like a sack of potatoes. He pick up my gun. And at this point in time, I don't know what he shot me with, but I know what I came in here with. I had a 45 ACP Springfield, and I know it's a big boy. So I'm like, oh man. So he like, who sent you? I thought of the first name that came to my head. I said, Fred. Fred sent me. He said, Fred put you up to this? I said, Fred put me up to this. See, he looked left, he looked right. He went in a weed. He went in a room. He got a weed. He grabbed the coat. He grabbed the cash. He put it all in a duffel bag. He just ran out the door. He didn't look at me once. Just ran out the door. And I don't have a cell phone. I don't have no way to call nobody. So I'm like, okay, we gotta get out of here. So as I try to get up, I fall. You know, it's like my upper body just try to get up, boom, falling. So I get on my back and I'm trying to do a body detail. And as I pick up my right arm, it snaps under pressure and it literally falls behind me. Like with my bicep laying on my chest and with my forearm like behind me. So I had to pick up my arm with my left arm and grab my shirt with my hand and I scream out for help and I feel blood just gush out. And it felt like warm motor oil. Like, after you trying to change your oil
Mhm.
yourself, you get a car a little time to cool off, feel like warm motor oil, thick. It's
Mm.
very thick. And I said, okay, we can't do that. So I look up at the doorknob. I said, okay, we gotta get out of here. And I try to get up. Boom, can't get out. I'm thinking it's a movie. I'm like, okay, my body in shock. It's gonna be just a little bit of more time, and my body gonna kick in, and it doesn't. And I hear my lung collapse, but at the point in time, I didn't know it was my lung collapsing. It sounded like a lot, it sounded like gargling underwater,
Mm.
it's like a deep gurgle. And my breath started getting short, and I started tasting pennies in the back of my mouth. And I try to go out like, the person who I thought I was, the criminal I thought I was. I like, oh God, forgive me for the sins that I made. Every time I come to you, I'm effed up. I'm always in a situation. It ain't never right, God. But just forgive me, Lord. Save a seat for me in heaven. And they were like, life flash before your eyes when you die. It don't. Only thing I seen was my funeral. I'm in the casket, and my mom and my auntie, and they arguing over each other. And, they blaming each other, and they blaming each other, and they basically saying like, "Hey, it's your fault. It's your fault." And that's all I see while I'm on this floor. So I go back up, and I'm like, God, don't spare me for my sake. No, God, don't spare me for my sake. Spare me for my mom and my auntie's sake, because my mama ain't raised me like this, Lord. She ain't raised me like this. I grew up in the church, God. I gave my life to you when I was 4. Save me. If you save me, hold on, y'all, give me a second. I had to be a little selfish on that one because
Mm.
I feel like he wasn't gonna do it for me, but he was gonna do it for my mama. So I told her, I was like, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. So he came, I hear the police coming, and I went to banging on the door right after that prayer. It wasn't a second that went by, like right after that prayer, I hear the police. So I'm banging on the door with my good arm, my left arm. And they come and they try and they breach all the doors. And the dude he come, he be like, he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Antonio Madison." He said, "Who did this?" I said the dude name. He said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know." So I stopped talking and I said, "Hey, I can't breathe." He said, "You can't breathe." I can't breathe. So he went, he got a respirator, and he started pumping. And this the most nastiest thing that ever happened because he started pumping. And while he was pumping, he literally said, here, he asked me my name again. I said, Antonio Madison. He said, what happened? And when I wouldn't tell him, he started pumping. Like the pumps got shut. So I'm looking. I'm like, his boots everywhere. boots everywhere. Oh man, God, don't tell me you brought me here to die in the hands of the police, Lord. Please no. And it was a lady, female cop. I still don't know her name. I wish I got it. She moved him out the way and she went to pump me. She like, Antonio, stay with me. Stay with me. I said, how long how long until the ambulance come? She was like, EMS is pulling up right now. So as they put me on the little stretcher, well, it wasn't the stretcher, it was like the one that actually like rubber, like the one they actually come get you at the beach, and they put me on, we call them the spatula. They put me on the spatula. And I hear them asking, oh, who gonna ride with them? And only thing I could see was her, because she was she was a white lady. So the only thing I seen was her hand. Cause it was dark everywhere, and I just seen her. I grabbed her. And I'm talking about, if it was a death mark, it was on her. And I helped her. And as one of the cops pulled out his baton because he was gonna hit my wrist, and she said, "No, I go with him." So we're in the ambulance, and I'm on my stomach, head at the back, feet at the driver, and it feel like someone is taking my legs and trying to bend them to my head. It's like they're trying to make my body make the perfect C. My whole back is on fire, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, "Can y'all please get my legs out of the air? Can y'all please get my legs out of the air? Can y'all please get my legs out of the air?" The EMS said, "Brother, your leg's not in the air." So I looked back one time, my leg's not in the air. And I looked back forward. He said, "Oh man." He said, "You feel this?" I said, "Feel what?" He said, "Oh, he might be paralyzed. Y'all might hurry up, get him there." And by him saying that, I felt like something could be saved. So we get out. I never forget. It was two ladies smoking a cigarette. One on, she pointed at me. We bust a left just before my hospital changed the entrance. And I'm trying to read to stay awake. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to find something to read. And it was a nurse just for COVID. She had on black, blue turquoise, blonde hair, and she had on a black mask, and she hit the wall to get out the way. And when me and her locked eyes, I can hear her start crying. And I told myself, like, Tony, you effed up. And I died right there. Wow, died. They put me on the table, they did surgery, and I don't know all this. Days don't went by, but this is the time that God had with me. Because at first it was black and it was all white. Purest white I ever seen. It felt like being in clouds type white. Like, I don't know if the wall was 50 feet in front of me, 5 feet in front of me, 2 inches in front of me. I don't know if I'm walking. I don't know if I'm floating. It's just that white. And I land in the classroom and I see a chalkboard. No eraser, no nothing.
We have been listening to a very gut-wrenching testimony from Antonio Madison, in which we will continue on a second episode. Stay tuned because there's so much more to unpack. This is the Death of Prison podcast, but we say choose life.
Hold your hand.